Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Jyotirmayananda Society, a journey to self realization. Please subscribe for the mystical meanings of the scriptures and to enjoy daily satsang with us. We are currently starting a new book, Yoga of Perfection, which is in essence a summary of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, authored by our worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. Let us start with the publisher's note by Swami Lalitananda, who is now no more in physical form, but um, we were blessed. She was a wonderful soul who went to India back in the 50s and brought Swami Jyotirmayananda ji to the West to spread his enlightened teachings to all of us. So her note says, there is no scripture in the world as profound and practical and lucid as the Bhagavad Gita. It is one of the most sacred religious works of the Sanatana Dharma, the Vedas, and the Hindus, and yet it is not confined to the realm of the Hindu faith alone. It is universal in its exposition of man's religious movement towards God. Great men all over the world have derived immense inspiration from this great teaching. The Gita is a portion from the great epic work Mahabharata, composed by sage Vyasa many centuries before Christ. The term Gita means song. The teaching of the Gita are presented in most elegant Sanskrit verses which are recited and sung in melodious notes. So wherever there is a specific verse, I will chant it for you. Apart from its unique literary beauty, the Gita turns the confusion of the mind into a song of spiritual devotion. Therefore, it is befittingly called Gita, Geet, the song. The Hindus add reverential terms to glorify the Gita, calling the great scripture Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Mad also means honey, Shri means auspicious. So, a song as auspicious as the taste of honey. As a text of yoga philosophy, the Gita is one of the three main pillars of yogic wisdom. These three pillars are the Upanishads, as you may know, that is the wisdom portion of the end of the Vedas, the concluding portion, the Brahma Sutras, the aphorisms of Vedanta philosophy, which reconciles the various Upanishads, etc., and the Srimad Bhagavad Gita itself. All great teachers of India commenced their teachings by presenting their commentaries on these three great texts, of which the Gita is the crest jewel. Over centuries, there are numerous traditional commentaries written on the Gita by great acharyas and sages of India. The Gita has thus acquired a vast literature rich with spiritual insights and wisdom. The Gita presents a dynamic picture of spiritual life. It does not advocate a passive withdrawal from the world in search of spiritual peace and perfection. Rather, it beckons the soul of a man to fight the battle of life heroically and attain victory in the form of self realization. A great warrior of antiquity, Arjuna, was confounded and confused in the midst of the two contending armies. Divine Krishna, who was acting as his chariot driver, gave his sublime teachings to grief stricken Arjuna. However, these teachings became universal in their implications. The very setting of the Gita presents a symbolic picture of life's incessant battle. The soul must face the contending forces of darkness and light in the battlefield of life. Being guided by the intuitive vision represented by the divine Krishna, the soul is led to join with the forces of light in order to destroy the forces of darkness or evil. Whoever discovers the real value of the Gita will dive deep into the ocean of fullness and bliss. The great Mahatma Gandhi once said to the members of his ashram, I run to my mother Gita whenever I find myself in difficulties, and up to now, she has never failed to comfort me. Yogic aspirants reverence the Gita as the very embodiment of Divine Mother. It is important for an aspirant to gain an insight into the teachings of the Gita in order to live a life that flows on the ideal of yogic perfection. Yoga means to connect with God, to unite, spiritual. Our beloved Guru, sage Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, has given the essence of the teachings of the Gita in a style that is simple and yet profound. Endowed with the intuitive knowledge of the self, he has an exceptional ability to reach out to the hearts of the readers and to awaken in them a profound understanding of the sublime teachings of the Gita and their subtle implications. So I hope you can join me daily for this beautiful satsang that we will do till we complete this beautiful scripture. And we generally record only for about 10 to 12 minutes every day. So this daily effort will vibrate and nourish your spiritual soul. So I hope you can join this journey with me. And if you have not subscribed this channel, I consider request you to do so, so you can also benefit from these teachings, this wisdom, as much as I have benefited. The present classical work entitled Yoga of Perfection or Srimad Bhagavad Gita by Swamiji Jyotirmayananda Maharaj presents the profound teachings of Lord Krishna in four sections. The first section is composed of the three most important parts of the Gita, where Lord Krishna describes the nature of a yogi of perfection. So these sublime verses in Sanskrit, along with their literal translation, have been given for those who wish to enjoy the beauty of the Gita texts, as well as those who wish to remember these verses as a basis for their internal progress on the path of spiritual meditation. And as I said, I will be chanting these shlokas. Just listening to this Sanskrit flow, you can visualize Lord Krishna chanting these holy verses to his favorite disciple Arjuna. The second section presents a brief of all the 18 chapters of the Gita. So, any aspirant can gain a deep practical insight into the philosophy of the Gita by studying these chapters rendered in brief. So, it's in brief because the full Gita is 701 shlokas and it can be fairly extensive. That is a whole in depth, deep study. And over here in this book, we are only covering the summary portions. So, an average person can get a general idea and then delve himself deeper into the deeper Gita also. So, the third section presents the selected verses of the Gita from each of the 18 chapters. This will prove to be an unusual guidance to sincere aspirants who need to study the Gita again and again in order to discover the endless treasures of spiritual values. The fourth chapter presents a brief resume of integral yoga, which is the theme of Gita scripture. And many of you who are following me regularly or joining the daily satsang know we have just completed the book on integral yoga. So, your daily sadhana, daily 10-20 minutes of your time will infuse you with this spiritual nectar, and over time, you will have a deeper, better, fuller, richer understanding of the whole Sanatana Dharma philosophy, which is universal and profound. In the light of this present work by the author Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, a perfected personality must be a blend of selfless action, supreme devotion, profound meditation, and illuminating wisdom. He must have a reason that shines with the light of transcendental wisdom, a will that is indomitable in controlling the movements of the mind, a devotion that loves the self behind the illusions of all the names and forms, and a practical life that is devoted to the welfare of all. A perfected yogi is called a sthita prajna because his intellect is ever established in the vision of the transcendental self. The brilliance of his intellect cannot be marred by the transient developments of the day to day world, may it be pleasant or painful, bitter or sweet. He is also called a bhaktiman, true devotee of God, a bhakta, because he attains the fulfillment of his sentiments by discovering God as the basis of all that is to be loved. He is further called a Trigunatita, a yogi who has transcended the three gunas, the three modes of nature: sattva, which is purity, rajas, activity, and tamas, inertia. So, a true yogi is an enlightened personality, is beyond these three, or Turiya, Trigunatita, beyond the three. Though living in a world of change, he continues to hold his vision in the immutable domain of the non dual self. Lord Krishna describes a perfect yogi as he who neither rejoices nor hates, nor grieves, nor expects, renouncing good and evil. Such a devotee is dear to me. This is from chapter 12, verse number 17 of the Bhagavad Gita. It is an error to perfect only one's aspect of one's personality, because it is a disbalanced personality where intellect is highly advanced while the heart is too constricted. So it is not well balanced. Spiritual movement is dull and sluggish. But by following the teachings that are presented here, an aspirant will learn the art of combining all the great elements of the main yogas: Karma Yoga for action, Bhakti Yoga for devotion, Raja Yoga for meditation, and Jnana Yoga for wisdom in day to day life. Thus, one develops a spiritual personality that is the highest ideal presented in the Gita. So, we will continue this journey in tomorrow's satsang, and we will start this great, beautiful scripture, Yoga of Perfection. Hari Om Tat Sat.